Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Libra, Sun, Moon and Ascendant for the month of August. Hope you're all well. I'd like to say a big thank you to those people who've joined the channel memberships that are now open. There's a join button underneath the video down there. And also all the people who came over to Patreon to support me over there as well. The vote of confidence in my work is huge and I'm very humbled by it. You have my unending gratitude. Thank you so very much. So Libra, let's see what's going on with you. Actually, do you know what? Let's just give these a little waft under here because I haven't done that for an hour or so. Right. Okay. Three cards for Libra, please. Whoop. So the first card you've got is the Seven of Pentacles. The second card is the Judgment card, and let's see what's coming towards you. We have the Hierophant and the Three of Pentacles. That's interesting. Yeah. So at the bottom of the deck we've got the Two of Wands, and that doesn't really surprise me with the energy that I'm seeing on the table here. The Two of Wands is a crossroads energy, kind of feeling like, well, we'll get into that in a second actually, because it relates very closely for me to the Seven of Pentacles. Let's see which deck we want to use to clarify. We're going to go over the Standard Rider-Waite. Just give that a quick shuffle too. I don't know where the sunshine's gone. It was really, really bright a minute ago, and now it's just gone utterly dismal. So let's extend the same courtesy to these cards as well. That's my window that's creaking, if you can hear it, by the way. I'm sorry about that. Right. Seven of Pentacles, please. How's that here for Libra? Right. Well, the one card that dropped I saw was the Devil. It was the right way up. There's a whole heap of cards that have come down here. I'm not going to take all of those, but it is the Knight of Cups, the Hierophant, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Five of Swords. Just letting you know that they're there. Oh, I'm going to do something about this light. Hang on. There we go. That's better. One more card for the Seven of Pentacles, please. I've got the Queen of Cups. Okay. How about Judgment, please? There we go. And the Eight of Wands with the Hermit. Sorry, I don't know if I said the Hermit was there. There's an awful lot of cards flipping, but yeah. Right, let's have a look at the last one. The Hierophant and the Three of Pentacles. We have the Page of Swords and the Seven of Swords. Okay, we're going to clarify those a little bit further. On the bottom of this deck, we've got the Three of Wands. So we've got the 2 and the 3. And I'll get into why that's a thing in a second, why it's important. Oh. So, just pick which one. Yeah, we'll go with that one, right. So, the Seven of Pentacles is the first card that you've got. And this is a card of... It's quite present energy, actually. It feels for you like it's a sense of rolling discontent about something, right? And it could be one specific thing, or it could be a number of things together, you know. But it's sort of taking stock of your life and knowing that there are things that actually aren't... They're not making you feel particularly fulfilled, you know? Dissatisfaction, low-level malaise, kind of. It's actually been coming up for a lot of the signs. It came up for Scorpio, came up I think for who else? Someone else. Anyway, I've been seeing it a lot over the last few days, and it seems like people are taking stock and they're going, this thing, it's quite shit. I don't really know why it's here, or like my entire life is just a bit like meh. And I'm not really surprised to see this off the back of, you know, the lockdowns and stuff that we've been experiencing. I don't know what it's been like in the US, but certainly in the UK,
everything kind of ground to a halt for a while and it's slowly reopening up again. But I feel personally like this gave everybody pause. It gave them time to kind of look at their life and see the ways in which they were perhaps on a hamster wheel and not really getting anywhere, just kind of running really, really fast to stay in the same place. And as things have started to open back up again, as movement is now starting to occur, these feelings are kind of coming out into the world, and it's like, do I really want to go back to how things were before? Do I really want to just pick up my life where it was before? Do I want to institute some fairly big changes? And the reason why it's quite a present energy is because you have to be kind of sitting in it and looking at it with fresh eyes to realise that it's there, that dissatisfaction. Now, the reason that I said that the Two of Wands was quite closely related to this is because this is that crossroads energy. It's about, she's looking into a crystal ball, right? So she's trying to discern her future. Where is she going, right? She's kind of, you can see she's kind of walking down a path in her head, and there's you know, consequences of taking this route this way, or the consequences of going the other way. It feels like that's where you're sat at the moment. Just remember which way around those cards went for a second there. Now, the clarifiers are the Devil and the Queen of Cups. Now, the Devil's quite, well, it's quite a striking card, really. But it talks about being chained to things, right? It can talk about fear, and it can talk about toxicity and codependence and abuse, and substance abuse and all those kind of things. But I don't feel like that's really relevant to you. I feel like this is more a sense of dissatisfaction with the things that you are chained to, that you didn't even realise were kind of holding you back in some way, right? We've got this Queen of Cups here, and she's very, you know, obviously queens are receptive, water is receptive. It's about it feels like you want more time to focus on the things that you love, or the people that you love. Actually, the more that I'm looking at it here, you see, you're trapped by things that you don't enjoy. You're trapped by circumstances that ultimately you have chosen for yourself in some way or another. But now you're looking at them and you're going, well, I don't really like this. I want to be able to focus on what's right for me, what gives me emotional fulfillment in some way. I'm going to pull another clarifier for that or two, but that certainly seems to be the thing. And it would explain why the dissatisfaction is so strong in your recent past. Okay, yeah, see, we've got the Two of Swords and the Devil in reverse. Like, you are really, really wanting to get away from the things that bind you, you know, from the material stuff. Actually, it feels like for me, the Devil rules everything that is earthly. So, you know, the flesh, absolutely. But the material stuff that's around you, the material level of our society, you know, the materialism, in fact. I've got the Strength card at the bottom of the deck here. I really, really love this card because it speaks to me about growth, right? Quite spectacularly. Sorry, the sun's just returned. But there's a sense that you are so chained to things like maybe jobs, maybe the need to do, you know, X, Y, and Z, you know, certain obligations that you've undertaken that you don't feel like, or haven't felt like you've been able to get away from. It's like everything gets reduced to everything gets reduced to an intellectual decision. I have never noticed, but on this particular card, the woman who is sat on this stone throne in front of the beach looks like Rapunzel, because that trailing purple thing there is actually hair. Like, you've been sat in this energy for a very long time, and it's like it's only just kind of surfacing now for you to process it. And your reaction to this is, I am desperate to spend more time with the things that I enjoy, the things that give me emotional fulfillment, the things that I love, all the people that do that for me.
And that's why you're trying to work out how you move forwards, how you make that happen for yourself. Now, in your present energy, you've got the Judgment card, and this kind of fits really, really well with everything that's come out before, because this is, in amongst other interpretations, it's about making a really strong judgment about something, right? It is making decisions about your life. Because it's major arcana, and like it's kind of a big deal. This is life-changing stuff here. But it feels like that's the point for me. You want to change your life in some way, right? It's clarified by the Hermit and the Eight of Wands there. And the Hermit it's the card of Virgo, but it's about going within. It's about going deep within, because you know that the answers exist within you. And for some of you, being so still has allowed those answers to come up from deep within you somewhere, up to the surface during this whole kind of lockdown debacle thing that's been going on, right? You know the answers are there. And then we've got this Eight of Wands, which can deal with communication, but it can also talk about momentum, you know? The way that these wands are angled, they're coming into land. And so it feels like you are very, very close to making a decision that is going to change your life in some way. Right? There's the Hermit again. Hermit, Eight of Wands, please. Yeah, right. Well, that's just absolutely fucking clear. So we've got two tens in the further clarifiers. We've got the Ten of Swords, the Hermit, and then the Ten of Cups again, right? This is so interesting. This came up for Scorpio as well, but for them it was nines, and it was talking about the tension between these two positions that they were, you know, holding all of the time. But for you it's slightly different, right? The Ten of Swords here indicates an end to difficult things, right? It's sometimes a card of rock bottom, but that doesn't feel like it particularly applies here for you. It feels like more bringing things to an end that you just don't enjoy anymore. You know, it is an ending, full stop. An ending of worry, an ending of having to work so mentally hard at things, right? So you're taking a bit of time, you're going within, and ultimately your focus is on those things that you really care about, whether they be people or, you know, the way that you spend your time, what you're looking for out of your life. This is quite a big energy, Libra, for you to be sat in. And it's funny that you should be Libra and you've got these two tens like sitting equally on either side of the scale. Like, the answers are within you, and I think that you've increasingly realized that that's the case, and you're going looking for them now because this is what you want from your life, not this, right? Now, what we've got coming towards you is the Hierophant and the Three of Pentacles. Now, Hierophant is a card of Taurus. And it talks about structure and rigidity and all that kind of thing. And it talks about societal structures and maybe even society in general, to be honest. We can see it for higher education, we can see it for jobs, work. You know, when you've got somebody at the top and then people, you know, staggered beneath in increasing volume, right? Pyramid kind of thing going on. And take it as it resonates to you. And then we've got the Three of Pentacles, which talks about cooperation and collaboration. Now, for some of you, it could be that there's a potential collaboration coming up, possibly with a Taurus, but that doesn't feel necessarily true. It feels like more with an establishment or an institution, right? And it feels like it's something at a distance, right? This is something that you do alone, together, to do this thing. But for others of you, the Hierophant would indicate
faith in your ability to start building for yourself a new structure, right? This Three of Pentacles does talk about working with other people, but there's a solitary person in the middle of a fucking field, right? Away from anyone, depicted working away at a thing, right? So that distance is there, absolutely. And maybe you plan to bring other people on board with something later on, but the Hierophant, this particular Hierophant, is about peace. It's about serenity. It's about faith, right? It's a really strong faith card. We've got that harp featuring really prominently at the front of the scene there. And the Hierophant themselves kind of set back a little bit. There's a sense of you withdrawing from what it is that you know, from what it is that you're familiar with. I'm not necessarily sensing as a sense of, huge isolation or anything like that, but it's almost like what you've decided about how you do things, like necessarily involves a little bit of detachment from what it is that you've known hitherto and creating something a little bit different. Now, it's clarified by the Page of Swords and the Seven of Swords here. People call this the Thief card, and it can indicate deception, but I prefer to interpret it as risk. So what we've got here is a different way of thinking, as indicated by the Page of Swords, right? Opening up to higher ideas about things. And then we've got taking a risk, right? It seems like you're taking a punt on something here, whether it's a new idea or just this underlying feeling that you want to change the structures that exist to something that suits you a little bit more, something that honors your need for peace and serenity in your life. Give me some more cards for the Hierophant and the Three of Pentacles, please. Right. We've got the Ace of Swords there. That's new ways of thinking too. All of these cards are tumbling. I don't want tumblers. I want jumpers. Right. Oh, fucking hell. Right. There we go. Yeah. Okay, apparently that's all we're going to get from the Triple Goddess, but that's okay because that is enough. What we've got is the Ace of Swords and the High Priestess. Now, when you get the Ace of Swords, no, the High Priestess with the Hierophant, we're talking about quite high-level spiritual stuff here. So maybe you have a practice, maybe you practice some sort of modality, maybe it's Reiki, maybe it's tarot, something like that, or maybe it's just an increasing sense of connection to something outside of you, right? Maybe the thing that you're rejecting is established society, the norm, the mainstream, that kind of thing. And what you're actually doing is being guided now more by your own intuition, more than you have been before, certainly. The Hierophant for me, it seems like you're willing to kind of toe the line so far, right? But only so far. And you're prepared to do the rest of it yourself. It's like you're kind of acknowledging that society exists and you must, in some way, cooperate with that to a degree. But it's like your focus has shifted, right? And now you're being guided by you. You're being guided by new ways of thinking. And this is opening you up to stuff, right? Both of these, this talks about, new ways of thinking and being guided and such like. It feels like the Page of Swords is also talking about that here. And this being a risk, well, it is a risk when you isolate yourself from the herd. But I don't feel like you feel like it is that much of a risk anymore. There's a certain... I think jaded is the word that I'm looking for, right? There's a certain quality of being jaded about modern life that you're feeling right here. you know, and you're looking for something with a bit more meaning. But it looks like in August, this is the point at which you start implementing that into your life. We had that 3 of Wands there, and you remember I said it was interesting that we had the 2 and the 3, where your current energy is in the 2. The 3 is where you start actioning that. That's when you start living that, and that's what's coming towards you. There's going to be an extended to this, so I'm going to go over to Vimeo now and do that. And so if this has resonated with you at all, feel free to come join me over there. If not, no issue at all. But I'm quite intrigued because this is actually quite gentle but really very profound at the same time. And I kind of like to look into it a little bit more. So if we part ways here, that's no problem at all. I will see you in about 10 days for the mid-month readings. All right, take care.